Hi, everyone. My name is Alberta, and welcome to episode 8 of the live Get Hitched Wedding Chat Show. Today, we're going to have a special guest with us, Joseph Mercieca. He runs the Country Terrace venue in Gozo. Okay, my co-host is also Ben today, Vincenti. He's my boss at Get Hitched. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm just going to introduce them. Hi, guys.
Hi guys, how's it going?
All right.
Good, good. Thanks. And you, Ben and Joe?
I leave it up to you, Ben, first.
Hi, I don't know if you were hearing me. I had my thing muted for some reason. I was just saying how hot it is. I can't believe how hot it is already. It feels like July, August. But apart from that, I'm doing really good. Thank you. Yourselves?
Myself, we are doing quite fine at the moment. I am in an air-conditioned climate, so I don't have a problem with the heat at the moment. Once we return back to normal, that's the problem that we suffer in summer when you have to have work in an environment such as our place on an open air terrace.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
the heat will persist, and you have to have work out with your tongue out. You're like, and you
For
can't stop.
sure. For sure. I would like to ask you, Joseph, to maybe introduce yourself for our viewers so they can understand who you are, what you do, even explain a bit Country Terrace for them.
Mela, first of all, my name is Joseph Mercia. I've been running the Country Terrace for the last 16 years. I've been in the catering sector for the past 30 years. Um, uh, we do events, we do weddings, we do functions, restaurant, anything that we are geared, even outside catering. We are geared to do outside catering
Very good. Okay.
on the island of Gozo. We try to operate in Malta, but there are several issues, ferries, everything. You need to be prepared and everything. And we weren't prepared for Malta, but we did some catering events in Malta, but it's not in our pipeline. So it's never was in our pipeline. But we couldn't not say no to these people, to these personnel that we had to do it.
For sure, for sure. And just for our viewers to know, the venue Country Terrace has an absolutely amazing view. Correct? I mean, it is something to die for just to
It's
sit there.
the terrace. Yes, you can see the what we call the Fligo, what we call. You can see Comino, Blue Lagoon, Malta. You can see the harbor underneath you, Fort Chambray. Okay, from one angle to another. I mean, it's amazing terrace. It's amazing view.
And it's not
Um,
just the view, guys, because I can vouch. It's the view, the food, the wine. It's everything. It's an absolutely
everything
great experience.
everything complements each other. And I always say a pot stays on three. You can't have the ambience and you can't have the food is wrong. You have to
Very
have the
true.
view, the service, and as well the ambience, the service, and as well the food. That
Very true.
combines what works together.
Cool. Who would you say so in terms of the clients that you have different clients, not just wedding clients, but obviously tourism, and you have DMCs and all this. So how would you say the split is in terms of that clientele? Is it 33%? Is it 50-50?
No, Mela, we see as an a la carte restaurant, we operate at 60%. Okay. Then we have 20% weddings and 20% DMCs. Okay. We operate only with DMCs operations. We don't go for mass tourism, but more actually different kinds of clientele that they would like to have our experience in our restaurants. I mean, even on an outside catering basis, because we work at the salt pens, we have events at the salt pens, even on Hondo, Dweira, different kinds of locations that we can do catering. We do catering for them over there. I mean, even weddings. I mean, for next year we already have like two planned weddings. We have one at Talmasar Winery, and the other one at Villa Pergola. It's in Shara. And I mean, the one in Shara, it's about approximately 400 people standing
Oh,
function.
okay.
So it's quite a big challenge. I mean,
And how
for
big would you say is the split between the outside catering and the catering at the restaurant?
it's still 80 to 20. So 80 at the restaurant and 20% on outside catering basis.
Brilliant.
I rather, for me, it's as well working at the restaurant, you have everything with what you need in your hands. Working on an outside catering, there is always problems of you missing that, you missing that. So you have to make a very good schedule of what you're going to take with you and everything. Even Gozo is such a small island, there is time frame to arrive from point A to point B. And time frames when you're doing a catering, you cannot go like you're missing something and you left it back at your complex. You have to go for it or send somebody to get it for you. It means minutes can be, especially on a wedding. You can't say to the bride or the groom, we are missing that because we forgot it behind it. So these are things that you have to take a very, very good cautious about it.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Super. Okay. So while we're talking and we've started already talking about weddings, what is your typical wedding client, Joseph? Would you say Maltese, Gozitans, foreigners?
Well, we have a good shares. We have I mean, the majority is our Gozitans since we are based on Gozo. But we do as well 2 to 3 weddings a year for the Maltese. So there are Maltese,
Okay.
yes, they want to get married on Gozo. I mean, we had Maltese that they got married in Malta and they hosted as well. They rented a ferry or they rented as well, like from Captain Morgan the Fernandez, and they came with the Fernandez. They had the dinner at my place, and they went back to Malta with the Fernandez was waiting like at 2 o'clock in the morning over there. But yes, basically are the Gozitans, yes, and the foreigners, yes, they are um, coming during the week. All right, the weddings of foreigners are maximum between 20 up to 60. I mean, if you have a foreign wedding of 90 people, that is something very rare to find. But normally are between 20 up to 40 people. And the smallest wedding I ever had was of 2 people, the couple itself. So
Wow.
they got
Okay.
married, and they got 2 people that they came for as a witness, but they left and they had the dinner over there by themselves.
Yes. Okay.
These are foreigner weddings. I mean, you wouldn't come on the Maltese Islands as in kind of Gozitans or Maltese that they will get married 2 or 3 people. I mean, normally it's 150 to 100, 300 people. Even
Yes.
more.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think we can say that on Get Hitched, we see the same trend when it's foreigners. There's a tendency that the average that they tell us is between 10 to 50 people. Then you have the one-offs that I've seen up to 100, even very one-offs that they would be planning weddings up to 200 people. But it's a whole event. It's different to what we do as Maltese, where you have the evening where there's the wedding and that's it. When the foreigners are coming, they are doing a whole event over the quantity of days that they're going to be here.
Yes, I mean they have parties the day before, they have parties the day after. They're getting married like at 4 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock they're still in the pool. So these kind of things that we don't see as a local weddings. I mean, in Gozo as well in Malta, the bride will still wake up at 5 in the morning. She needs to go to the hairdresser and everything and start preparing. While the foreign weddings are totally different. Even how they don't do a wedding cake. Some of them they just do speeches. So it's a totally different concept. I mean, we did Jewish weddings. We did different kinds of weddings that you learn. I mean, you ask them what they like, how they like to plan their wedding. Okay, you give them the suggestion, but then there as well, it's up to the foreign person, it's up to the bride and groom, how would they like the wedding to be done.
Uh-huh. I think I've seen also even just how relaxed they are. They're more relaxed, even the attire compared to a Maltese wedding to a foreign wedding. It's more comfortable. I've seen them with shirts open, they just want to have a fun day. I've even heard stories of brides just going the morning of the same wedding to a hairdresser. Can you do my hair today? I'm getting married.
It's
Whereas a Maltese bride would have planned it.
it's true. It's totally true. I mean, with the current situation of the COVID-19, we're having a lot of problems, a lot of issues as well about local weddings, trying to find the postponement date for next year, trying to find the photographer, trying to find the beautician, and then, so they are pre-booking 1 year, 2 years in advance, which a foreign wedding they do only 2 months in advance. So it's totally different than what we are doing and everything. So
Very good. I have actually gone ahead and put up the next question that we had because we started answering it basically, where we wanted to point and ask you how are foreign weddings different to local weddings. So thank you for that, Joseph. Do you see perhaps any differences between Maltese and Gozitan weddings?
yes, of course, there is a difference because first of all, the Gozitans weddings are mena. When it comes to the after party, they are good. They're doing slow dance, cutting off the cake, and then after party. Which the Maltese, they are start slow dance, they cut the cake, and then they go home. So this is a slight difference how weddings are done. Nowadays in Malta is changing a lot as well, which they are doing. They are doing an after party. Sometimes even changing the venue for an after party because once couple of years ago, 2 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, I was invited in Malta to do a wedding in Mdina. They wanted me to manage just the wedding, not the catering, but they wanted, they're friends of mine, and they wanted to me to manage the wedding. And actually, what they did is they did the wedding. It's totally different. It was as well. It was different for the Maltese because normally Maltese are standing wedding, which is Gozitans are seated weddings. They did a sit down dinner, a sit down gala dinner. And then after, they did the after party on a different location. So they went, they cut the cake, they finished, and then they went, the young people, for the after party for the till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, but in a Gozo wedding, it's totally different. They're doing slow dance, they're cutting the cake, and then the after party continues. Eventually, 2 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, sometimes even 5 o'clock in the morning, we are still going. So then the next day you have a full day ahead, and you go to home, you take a shower, and you sleep only 2 3 hours, and you go back to work to the reality of the next day.
Of
Cool.
course. So basically, from what I'm understanding, your experience helps so much that you're also able to help out, and even with management and so on, they're sort of getting everything with you. People who plan their
Yes,
weddings.
yes, yes, yes. For like us, we can organize as well. If it's a foreign wedding, we can organize for them the ceremony itself with the registrar. We can organize as well for them photographers, hairdressers, and everything. Okay. If it's a local wedding, all right, we can organize themselves the after party and everything. So everything will be included in one package instead of giving them they have to go there, they have to go there. We are doing one package for them.
So basically, your team offers even the kind of the some of the event planning, wedding planning, and organization services as well.
Yes, yes, we do. I mean, some of the weddings they come to my place, and even they don't have a wedding planner.
Right.
I mean, or a wedding organizer. I mean, they come and tell them, "Who's your wedding organizer?" And they say, "Listen, we don't have that. We're not going to make a wedding organizer. We're going to leave it up to you, Joe. and you're going to take care of us. So
Fair enough.
it's much more hassle, it's much more effort you need to do for that. Yes, that then there is as well the weddings that they have their organizers and everything. Okay, but every organizer on the island of Gozo knows where I arrive, knows what my place has to offer. Like so there are good wedding organizers on the island which they can manage as well with good weddings.
Very good. Just so that we can clarify for our viewers, what is the smallest and largest in capacities your venue actually takes on? Because I think it's very good information for people to know.
No, the smallest could be, I already said, it's two people,
People.
2 people. It cannot be one. You can't be one. And the maximum
Well,
would be you can't. Till now, it's not legal to marry somebody, to marry
to
something.
marry yourself.
But in maximum, we are saying around 600, 650 standing. Always, we are saying standing.
Very good, very good. And if it had to be that they're looking for seated, the largest capacity would be
Seated capacity is 300,
okay.
320 maximum. Seated. Banqueting. So the tables are not round. If it's around, it's 260. So everything makes a totally difference. We have a plan. We had a plan for this year to make it bigger, and there was plans to make it bigger. But with the current situation, uh, financial, we are not saying now that this could be a possible thing that we are going to do after this summer, but could be the next summer or before our in winter 2021, because due to the restrictions that we have.
Yeah, in fact, this was our next question. Kind of with now the current situation, and maybe even with the change of yesterday, we don't know. But the word is that like there, once the lockdown and the restaurant ban is lifted for bars, restaurants, etc., there will be certain restrictions, in terms of maybe table spacing and all this. What changes do you foresee in your daily operation there?
Bella, first of all, this morning, I mean, not even this morning, this afternoon, there was with the Minister Julia Farrugia, an indication when we are going to operate. And the indication was that in the coming days, the Prime Minister, Roberta Bella, is going to mention lifting up some restrictions.
Right.
We can't tell at the moment. They are what I heard is they are seeing exercise that they're carrying out in other countries. With somebody said to me they're going to make perspex between people. Um, uh, we don't know yet. I mean, lifting up restrictions could help us to we start operating with the local market. Coming up to the weddings, I mean, we don't even know if we're going to host weddings this year, because the problem is, are events allowed? I mean, events and weddings bring mass people together. So if you have 200
Yeah.
people in my place, how can I separate 200 people in my place? I can't. Okay. I mean,
That's impossible.
my terrace can take up 300 people seated. Okay. 300, 320. But how can I separate 200, 100 people? You're going to put one over there, two over there. It doesn't work like that.
Even just managing to control them to not move. I mean, you can't really force anyone to just stay in their space, sort of, that they're given space, especially when it's in quantities of 100 plus. It's very difficult to control.
If my place can take my terrace, I mean, I have a very big, massive outdoor terrace. Ben, you've been there, and I think Alberta, you've been there as well. If correct me if I'm
I've
wrong.
been multiple times.
Yes, multiple times.
The thing is, once you can manage a restaurant at the moment. Maybe let's say instead of doing 150 people, you manage to have 60, 70, or 80 people. So you separate them a little bit. That. But then there as well, if there is a family, my question will always remain: if there is a family of 10 people, what are we going to do? We're going to put four, and two. So we don't know yet. We don't have any clarifications how we're going to operate. I hope that this will give us an indication. And from this afternoon, sorry, Julia Farrugia, the Minister of Tourism, she indicated that in this coming days we will be given a verification how we're going to work. I mean, the health department. So we don't know yet, nothing. Okay, but the only thing that I only say is um, we need to change our daily routine, our daily operations. I mean, we can't stay like we were in February, in January, in December. We need to change our, operations. Definitely, 100%.
You
Okay.
did mention to me before as well, Joseph, that you are planning on doing some operational changes, even with takeout and everything for the restaurant once you open again. I don't know if you want to explain it a bit as well.
Mela, at the moment, we are totally closed since the 17th. Day 17 was the last day that we operated, and 17th of March, and we are totally closed. A lot of people were coming up to me and saying to me, "Why you don't do takeaway?" At the moment, it wasn't was I never considered doing takeaway because it wasn't feasible for us to do takeaway. But in the coming month, when we start operating, once we have workers over there, we are thinking and then the pipeline to make a takeaway service. So who wants to stay at home, all right, or you have an event having at home, we could deliver to you to your house cooked food or raw food, and you can cook it yourself. Okay. Eventually, we have to make a specified menu which is safe. I mean, you have to have a very attention, which is safe, that you could travel with, and there is no food poisoning can occur when you're reheating or when you're cooking and everything. So not when you're cooking, but when you're reheating or while you're eating and everything. So this was one of my concerns. Why we did never the takeaway service in the first part. But we are thinking of doing in the pipeline once we start operations back to normal, back to
It
normal. But how
it
is
will
going to be?
help with your kitchen operation. I mean, if you're going to have the people there and everyone, I mean, your workforce working, but then you're going to be limited to X amount of tables, it will be good to at least get the full efficiency
Yes, if we can
out of your
increase
kitchen.
maybe a couple of orders, that will help. As well, because a lot of people as well on the island of Gozo and as well on the island of Malta doesn't know that we are as well operating on an outside catering basis.
Yes, I
But
was going to mention that actually, that I don't think it is very much known that you offer the outside catering option, and maybe this is an opportunity to help that get out there, that message out there, because even from at least my circle of friends, Country Terrace is known as that beautiful restaurant with the beautiful views in Gozo, rather than the outside catering point. It's more known for the restaurant, so it
yes,
is an opportunity, to get that segment of your business out there, for sure.
yes, it's very important. I mean, and as well, we are considering as well for small events to go on place as well, to offer outside catering for like a baptism party. They don't want to go to a restaurant, and we offer them as well this kind of delivery, as well, a small service that can help us. That could help the income revenue to keep Country Terrace in this situation running. Okay, because it's not easy keeping the restaurant. I mean, we have at the moment we have 11, no, 10 full-time employees, and as well 6 part-timers. Keep them running. It's not.
That was another question actually that just popped to my mind. Is that so? with Getish and Evently, our platforms, the biggest problem that we heard about from our clients in the catering industry was always they could not find employees. It was very hard to find employees, to wait tables, to deliver, to in the kitchen, the chefs, whatever. Do you foresee this to become maybe come back to normal now that the COVID has hit the situation? Maybe people will be out of jobs, so it will revive the catering industry, or in terms of employment for Maltese and Gozitans, which was kind of dying out. What is your opinion on that?
My opinion on the employees finding the local persons to do the job, I mean, was always in our heart, because employing a foreigner or employing a local person, I prefer to employ a local person. But we could not find, so we needed to adapt to the situation that we had in our hand. I mean, finding a person coming to a restaurant and finding a local person speaking in Maltese, or having the Maltese are well known for its charisma, and saying hello, hi, kif inti mela. We don't find these kinds of words anymore in our restaurants. I mean, front front of house in my restaurant, talking about in my restaurant, we're having, I mean, they're all foreigners besides me and my wife. I mean, talking to the people as well, they're talking to you in English. So we were losing that, but now we don't know yet how it's going to arrive. I mean, are the Maltese and the Gozitans wants to go back to the catering because they don't have jobs, they don't have they lost their overtime, so they're going to go back to the. So we don't know yet. I mean, we have three Maltese, okay, and seven foreigners, which are five non-EU national and two EU national and three Gozitans as a full timers. I mean, then the part timers, there are three Gozitans and two. How we're going to, when we start operating back, how it's going. And now we kept them all, but how we're going to operate, we don't know yet. But we miss, yes, definitely, yes, we miss that kind of charisma with the people. The people wants the tourists, when they want to go to Gozo, to Malta, they want to hear that Maltese charisma, that Maltese vibe when they're entering. You go to a restaurant in Malta nowadays as well in Gozo, you can't speak anymore in Maltese, but you have to speak as well in English. I mean,
Yes. It has become very rare to find a Maltese waiter, and it's sort of a pleasure when I go to a restaurant and there is a Maltese, and you're sort of passing these charismatic comments and everything. There is a lot of foreigners that have increased in the catering industry. Everyone sees it, I guess, both in Malta especially,
I mean,
and
we use. I mean, besides our this is part, because some of the workers, they went abroad at the end of October, because we don't have work for everybody during the winter. So then they leave and then they come back in April. I mean, eventually they didn't come yet because the airports are closed, but they're waiting to the airport to be open. But I already told them we don't know how it's going to be, so don't rush to come back, because we don't know. I mean, we had people from France, people from Lithuania coming back to work, people from Italy, but we don't know. I mean, our workforce normally in summer is between 25 up to 30 employees. Then we have as well a company that we lease workers from them. I mean, we had one company, then we went to two, and then we are back to the first company, because they gave us a good deal, and we're working with them. And I mean, they're quite well committed. They're operating since 5 years on the island of Malta, and everything. Like we are doing outside catering. When we're doing outside catering, the majority of staff will remain at the restaurant, and the partial small staff and higher crew will come on the outside catering with us. So
Okay. And is this the same? So, when you're having weddings that are happening at the Country Terrace, do you keep with your staff that are working with you full time, or do you also increase the staff with this company that you use?
Normally, yes, we do increase because especially it depends on the requirements and how big is the wedding. If you're hosting a wedding of 150 people, okay, we can manage with our stuff. But if we're hosting a wedding of 250 to 300 people, you need an extra help. So you don't have it every day, so you can't employ more people. Okay, but we keep this company there, and eventually sometimes they do send us the same people, sometimes they don't send us the same people. So it's quite a hassle as well to start giving them an indication what they're going to do and everything.
You mentioned even we wanted to ask this question about like in terms of wedding couples and any other customer that you have, like why do you think these people choose Gozo? But I would like to extend the question to, you mentioned people from France, from different countries that actually work for you as well, and actually they wait for the busy season, so they go back to their home country and they come around April. Why do you think they do that? There must be some emotional attachment even to Gozo or to Country Terrace or both for them to do that rather than find something which is more fixed. How would you explain that, Joseph?
First of all, I have employees working for me 15, 16 years. Keeping the employees turning together, it's one of the best headaches that I have. you know and when I tell them I have 30 employees, I have 30 problems every minute, every second. Sometimes they're the biggest friends, sometimes they're fighting together, like. So but it's nice, but it keeps them going as well. That I think we lost Ben.
Sorry, guys.
Mela. All right, it's back. Hello, Ben, you're
Hi.
back.
Hi. Something must have happened. I don't know if you got all my question.
Mela, at the moment, Mela, something went wrong again. We lost Alberta now.
Uh, I'm yeah. There's
All
something.
right, okay, we're back. All right, okay.
Hi.
Mela,
I don't know if all the question came through. Apologies for that. Something must have happened. The connection dropped or something. I don't know if you got all my question regarding how people, why they choose Gozo. I don't know if it came all through.
First of all, go. So, why they choose? I mean, as your question is a kind of employees or the people when they're coming to the island of Gozo.
Yeah, we were going to ask actually. I was interested first for in terms of wedding couples and maybe other customers that you have, but you mentioned even in terms of employees. So it's interesting to see if there are any overlaps there. So it's kind of open to all the question.
Mena, as in kind of employees, they're coming to the island of Gozo because of its tranquility. I mean, Gozo is always set back than Malta. We don't want to be a copycat of Malta. What Malta does, we have to do it in Gozo. Actually, we have to diversify. We have to always to adapt to a situation. I mean, first of all, we suffer from double insularity. Okay, but then there as well, that helps us to be a distinct destination. So we are totally different than the Maltese island, than the Malta island, not Maltese, because Maltese islands are with Gozo included. So the Malta island, it's totally different. I mean, the tranquility is one of the things that are choosing uh, people to get married on Gozo. Okay, so when you have couples that they want parties, they are choosing Malta to get married, which they know that there is a difference in tranquility, the ambience. We have beaches, we have everything. I mean, on the island of Gozo, where we can offer a totally different package than Malta can have to offer. But this is one of the things that are pulling couples to get married on such a small island. Getting married for the workers, to get to my point, because we are treating The employee is very good. We give them good wage, not because you're a foreigner. I mean, a lot of I don't want to be. I speak generic. I don't want to be to pointing my fingers to other people, but a lot of employers they don't pay the right amount. I mean, by the end of the day, if he's doing a good job and you're investing in him, I mean, we send them to courses, we take them abroad on different chefs and everything. I mean, to keep investing in them. I mean, some of the people that you go over there to work, all right, not a problem. You have to do that and that, and there is no.
Definitely. I mean, it's the employees. Not only are like with any company, employees are basically the engine of the company. But especially in your case, when you have people who are on front of house or front line, they're literally your brand because it's so like you mentioned in the beginning. It's about the experience. It's not just about the food, but how the food is delivered, how friendly the your employees are with the customers. Because you can have the most amazing food in the world, but if your servers are rude or arrogant, I don't care. I won't go back there. So, especially keeping those employees satisfied and happy, and yeah, investing in them is extremely important for the success of such a business. So, definitely, I agree there.
One of the thing is getting the right employee to work for you. It's an investment. I mean, when before
Definitely.
the experience of the COVID-19, this was my second winter that we kept so many workers with us. Normally, we are running less workers, but since weekends are still very busy, I mean, coming Sunday lunchtime, you are going to do 150 to 170 packs for lunch. It is quite you need quite good stuff to do it. I mean, you can't run with 6 employees, but you need to be between 8 to 10 employees on the platform. I mean, they 8 to 10 employees, they know what they're doing, not because I mean sometimes you
Exactly
get
what I was going to say, that they need to have the experience, and that is very good that you're keeping your people and they want to come back and continue working with you. So your experience for the person that is coming to your restaurant and being served is always improving, not starting from scratch every summer.
I mean, even clients when they come back to the restaurant, they say hi, and they mention the name of the employee. I mean, not they are finding new employees all the time. I mean, even like such a cleaner, we treat them with dignity. I mean, a cleaner is important as a waiter, as a chef. I mean, everybody is doing the right job, not because you're a cleaner or you are washing the glasses or you're doing something else. You are totally different than, than a chef or than a front of house, a manager or something like
Yeah,
that.
we were actually having this discussion yesterday as a team, because we were talking about like even like garbage collection in the streets and all this. So think about it. If like the cleaning of anything stops,
It
everything
will be a
stops.
total catastrophe.
It's a chaos. So imagine a restaurant without it being cleaned. No one, it's not gonna function. Imagine not being able, no one cleaning the plates or the cups, or it just cannot work. So they are a crucial part of the whole
Of
operation
course,
and
and
supply chain of your
some
business.
people they don't acknowledge them. This is one of the main reasons as well. I mean, one of the biggest secrets as well, which is not a secret after all, but I mean that you treat every employee with dignity, what the work he's
Yes,
doing, and you tell him before he leaves, you tell him thank you. I mean that thank you pays off,
A lot,
pays
yes.
off, pays off. I mean, and as well, another thing that it
agreed.
keeps us going as well, that I'm there every day. I mean, if I am on holiday, the place is closed. I don't go on holiday and the restaurant is operating, or I stay at home, or I go out for dinner with my family and everything. I mean, actually, my family comes to the restaurant, and I mean, my wife's is employed with us, but my youngest daughter. she comes over there. The other one, she's much more older. She stays at home.
So you are the backbone of all everything that is happening from kitchen to front service.
Yes,
You are
yes,
keeping everything together to make sure
yeah,
the experience is going out as
yeah.
it should, with
It's
events, weddings, and everything.
yes. I mean, every wedding, every event, it happens. I mean, the meeting is done. I do the meeting, so I always be involved. I mean, I have somebody nowadays as well doing a little bit of help on the event. I am there on the meeting to see whether if it's done the proper way and everything. So it's important to be hands on everything.
Very good.
Cool.
I'm very happy that we're doing this live show actually today because I really think we're giving a lot of information out to people about you, about Country Terrace that I don't think a lot of people actually knew. Now we're already actually hitting over 40 minutes, guys. So I am going to take everyone to the next question, which basically we wanted to ask you, what would you recommend to couples getting married in Gozo? What should they keep in mind when they are choosing to get married in Gozo?
As in kind of couples. Clarify yourself about Maltese couple, Gozitan couples, or foreign couples.
You can do it specifically for each different if you'd
I
like.
mean, what should couples get married in Gozo keep in mind? It's I mean for the Gozitans, I'm blocked a little bit. I mean, for the Gozitans, it's quite easier because they're
Have
on the
fun,
island of
basically.
Gozo and everything. And as well, the Gozitans likes to keep their hands on everything. So they're more different. They
Maybe I
um,
don't know. Maybe they would you would recommend that they would if they're flying, let's say a foreign couple, and they're flying into Malta. Would you recommend that they go so X amount of days before the wedding? Is there is if there is
Yes,
even a time frame?
definitely, definitely. I mean, we had experience that they are getting married tomorrow and they're still abroad, or they're coming tonight at midnight. I mean, if something happens, what will going to happen? I mean, but not all of the couples. I mean, I mean, couples they do 2 weeks over here, and they get 2 to 3 to 4 days before, and they do 1 week after the wedding before they go back to their home country. Yes, eventually, yes, it's important because sometimes we don't even meet the couple by via email or either by calling the couple and discussing the menu and
Right.
they're sending everything via email,
And
including
yeah,
the Maltese weddings. Yes, of course, definitely. We meet them. They come to the place. They see the place and everything. And as well, they are doing. Yes, they're getting 2 3 days before the wedding, and then they're leaving 2 3 days after. Yes, so
right.
that's very important for.
An extension to this question as well, Joseph, would be what are the frequently asked questions that you receive from couples, when they're inquiring, or wedding planners, when they're inquiring about Country Terrace and getting married in Gozo and at Country Terrace? What would you say are the top questions that you are asked and that you usually
Mela,
receive?
well, one of the questions that I like to answer: what time can we finish?
Okay.
I mean, at Country Terrace, there is no such time. I mean, we have permits to operate till 4 o'clock in the morning. We
Right.
have permits to operate with music till 1 o'clock in the morning. But then there as well, if you are, I mean, I always tell them this, well, if you are bothering people, I mean, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon with music,
Right.
they can report you and the police have to tell you, Isma, you need to lower down. So
Sure.
I mean, there is no such time frame. I mean, our place is located where there is no people around us, so that helps as well um, uh, for music to be a little bit amplified. But that there is as well. I mean, that is the question that till what time can we stay, or
Sure.
can we give fireworks? Are we allowed to give fireworks? Or I mean, besides the price, what our prices are offering and everything. I mean,
Right. So
yes.
you basically receive end time of total event with after hours and all this. If they can operate fireworks, and can they operate fireworks?
With permit, you have to do a permit. I mean,
Right.
normally, what we do, we guide them. If they're foreigners, we do it for them. We do a permit with an insurance. I mean, we are calling fireworks, not like
Yes, yes.
Kalem Abbata. We are calling a small fireworks. These Chinese made fireworks that you can
Right.
get from the roof. Yes, and eventually, lately, last year we had three weddings, which they made as well, a fire show. I mean, with music synchronized, 3 minutes fire show with music. Eventually, permits are needed for this. I mean, police permits and everything.
Of
This
course.
year, this year we're having a problem. I mean, first of all, we don't know, as I told you before, if we're not going to have any weddings or events this year. But this year, I don't know. It's going to be harder, more for fireworks to be given because they're not. There's some loss of, if I'm not mistaken, about fireworks, land fireworks, or as well sky fireworks are going to be giving in are they allowed? I don't know. I didn't follow the issue that the government
Yeah,
stated.
we'll look into it. So thanks for that.
Okay,
Very good. All right, guys. So we're hitting now almost 50 minutes. I'm going to put up the last question we have for you, Joseph, today, which basically we wanted to ask what advice in general do you have to all couples getting married in Malta or Gozo? You meet a lot of different people, you're going to gain your experience from each and every different wedding. What would you give as advice to everyone watching our show today?
Mela. I always take every wedding on a different kind of uh, have its own story. Every wedding, not I want to do a wedding like. I mean, you find some people that they are cousins. I want my wedding better than hers.
Okay,
No, I mean every wedding have its own story. Every wedding have its own things and everything. I mean, what my advice would be: your wedding has to be unique. Don't look on other weddings what they're doing. I don't care if they're doing that. How I would like to my best. I mean, this is your best day. This is supposed to be your best day. You're getting married. You're getting for a new living, a new era in your life. Okay, you're going to build up a family together with your partner. Then you're going to have kids. So, I mean, you can't look on your neighbor what she did or what he did.
very true.
Build up your wedding. Talk to people that they have experience. Okay, and together you could build up the nicest wedding with your budget. I mean, it's important that everybody has a budget, and with that budget, you always can build up your wedding, your dreams wedding, where you can dream. I mean, I think Alberta, you when you were a kid, you were dreaming about the
I have
horse,
my
the
dream,
white
yes.
horse, the prince, the charming prince, and everything.
I have my imaginary book in my mind where I have the how the dress would be,
Yes. So
my family.
that's you can make. This is my advice. With every budget, you can make any wedding in that you like. All right. So
Definitely.
there is no. I mean, this is my advice to couples that they're getting married.
Very good, very good. To add to that advice, I'd also like to mention that couples should also make sure that they are choosing the right suppliers because then they want to give it in control. Like you mentioned, for example, you take the organization on, you make sure that from start to finish, then everything is going to be smooth sailing. And couples should feel that trust. They should feel that comfortability with that supplier, so they can have the best experience possible on their day.
Yes, of course. I mean, the experience. I mean, the approach. When a couple approach you or you approach a couple, it has to be very very approachable, very um, important because that could build up a relationship. I have people. I mean, yesterday evening I was at a place, a couple that got married at my place. Gay couple. I mean, two ladies. They got married 3 years ago. we still have a good relationship. They invited me, who wanted to have a glass of wine in their terrace at their home. I mean, and I went there, and from a glass of wine and a beer, it ended up till 8:30 in the evening. So, I mean, it builds up that relationship. That is very, very important. I mean, the trust, as you have mentioned, the trust is the most important thing that between the operator and the couple itself, it needs to be built. I mean, this is as well another. It's not a secret, but it's a thing that you need to show your charisma back again to your charisma to the clients that you are dealing with.
Definitely. Okay, guys. Well, that's all the questions that we had for you today, Joseph. So thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure having you with us today. I don't know if you want to say any final words.
And final words from me would be, let's we are this into together. You know, this challenge, the new challenge that we have this year. Okay, let's be strong. Let's be let's join together and hope that we will get out of this very soon, or if it's not very soon, to adapt to our situations that we can. It's a challenge. It's not a joke. It's a big
It
challenge.
is.
It's a
It
big.
is. It is.
I mean, we have running costs that they're running. I mean, my restaurant is closed, and we still spend it to run. Once it's closed, 30,000 euro. So just closed. I mean, it's not saying that it's operation, but just closed, and we are spending money to keep running. Electricity, phone
Definitely.
bills, every. I mean, it cannot stop. Okay.
Definitely. No, no. I mean, we can see it as well. We've been following up with different suppliers and everyone that we work with to get Hitched. I mean, I believe we have over 600 different suppliers. Everyone is in the same boat. A lot of people, suppliers that are with closed doors, waiting to get more information. When can they continue with group events? So everyone is in the same boat. We're hoping all of us to get out of it alive and together,
Yes, I hope so.
strong, smiling, and still here.
This is very important that you keep strong. I mean, you keep your high hopes, thinking about positive, not negative.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you very much, Joseph. Ben, I want to pass this on to you to see if you have like any final comments for our viewers.
No, all I would like to say is thank you, Joseph, for it was a very good very good show. Again, lots of information, even some stuff that I learned about Country Terrace. So thank you for the time. Again, nearly an hour has passed, so it's incredible each time how fast the time passes. And I would like to echo your comments. Is like we are going through a tough time, but I believe that if we continue to, from a business point of view, if we continue to reinvent ourselves and always think on our toes and be on our tiptoes, if you will, you will come up with solutions to the current problem as long as you are lean enough to adapt to that. So I would say one of the most important lessons from a business point of view to everyone is to be lean as possible where possible. Two couples and all this, again, we've mentioned this so many times before. It's not the end of the day. Yes, you had to postpone your wedding, but it's all about the relationship you have, and it will happen in the future, if it's going to be smaller or not. The most important thing is that you're surrounded by loved ones. And about other people, situation which is not related to weddings, again, just remain strong, be safe, be responsible, and as much as possible move forward. That's what. So I would echo your sentiments, and I would thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Pleasure.
Okay.
I look forward to coming to the Country Terrace again,
Whenever
Joseph.
you like. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
I will
Bye.
be joining.
All
All right.
right.
Definitely. All right, guys. So there you have it. I am going to say bye to you, Joseph and Ben. I'm going to remove you from the live stream. So bye.
Bye.
So there you have it, guys. We had Joseph with us today from Country Terrace. He's given us a lot of information with just regards with the venue, how they operate, catering. We've also learned that they do outside catering, foreign weddings, Gozitan weddings, and also Maltese weddings. I do hope everyone has enjoyed the show, and I look forward to seeing you next time.